Oh, like I said, I don't know how long I'll be on here, which I never do. And God darn it. Trying to use this thing here. Get it just about right there. Okay. Let's see here. Oh. Whoa. What a morning. It's going pretty good though. I hope it's going well for whoever's watching. It's I'd say this morning is going specifically better than the past couple of days. Like yesterday was okay, but I was still like in the midst of just not. I was kind of recovering from the previous few days of being out of it, like being off track for a couple of days. I was off track. I know I'm pretty open about what I do or don't do and what I struggle with, but you know. Sometimes I'm gonna wait a second. I saw that somebody. It looked like somebody was watching, and now I'm seeing zero. But that does that a lot. You could still be watching, and there's a couple of you guys that just like to watch and listen. So I'm learning that. Oh, I'm trying to keep occupied today. With a more positive attitude. I woke like I gotta say that I do feel better. I slept all right. Um, so far, so good. I'm not sitting here like jonesing or anything, like thinking that I have to get out and try to make something happen so I could have me a drink or anything. Like it's not like that. It's just that, you know, I spent a few days of hand. Anybody that's watched me for any length of time will know that that's something that goes on with me sometimes. I'll go a little while and I do pretty good, and then there's just one of them days where I nothing really happens necessarily. I just choose to do something. Then once I've done it, it creates a pattern where I was talking about on X earlier about this that I'm able to pull back from it, but it takes once I start, it's going to take me like every time I start, usually it's going to take me several days before I quit again. Like you know what I'm saying? Like let's say I go 6 months and didn't touch a drink, but if I choose a day out of six after 6 months and I drink, more than likely I'm probably going to drink for 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and then at some point I'm going to go, whoa, I got to pull myself out of this. And I think where the mistake is thinking that I'm pulling myself out because the only way that I can maintain it is my relationship with the creator, you know. And I haven't shared this since I went live, so I'm going to share this. We're live right now. Come in. I'm going to share it again. Who knows? Okay. Apparently, I kind of interrupted my stream for a minute trying to share all this. I just thought I needed to share the link a couple of times, and And of course, I have no clue. I might not be on here long, but if some of you guys show up and want to talk for a minute, and I didn't go live with StreamYard right now just because, truthfully, I don't know how. Like, I really mean, I need to be doing some stuff, which I've already done some things this morning. I've gotten up today and did more in the first couple of hours than I've done in the past week. Like, well, not in the past week because there had been, like the other day I got up, and even though the other morning I got up and was invited on someone's stream, and it was early that morning. Hell, I guess they had started streaming like at 4 in the morning or something. But anyway, by the time I went on there, I had fun and everything, but then I was uh, I was not in my right mind. Like what I was talking about earlier. So the other morning when I was on that stream, I was kicking a few back, and that's not something I normally do anymore. And that bit me in the ass, and it bit me in the ass for a couple of days. Hey, Betty. Yeah, I am. Is that I am? I saw your comment. I know about what I am is with Joe Goldsmith in the book The Mystical Lie, the first book I ever read by him. Joel S. Goldsmith, well, he's a Christian mystic. And, some people, like when you talk about, if you mention Christian and the word mystic, some people don't understand that. And they think that it's like, but I yeah, but I'm saying, yeah, he's labeled as a, yeah, okay. Well, when you said the word occult, I almost kind of thought maybe you were like, but no, yeah. A lot of people, they just, they take that terminology occult and don't realize that it applies to a lot of things. It can even be, yeah. It's the esoteric. Yeah. So it's just like what I was talking about the other day. Even when I'm reading from Jesus Calling, I get people sometimes in the comments telling me why Jesus Calling is occult, new age, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, because personally, what a lot of people for years have said, this is new age. If you do any research, you find out that all that stuff is really old, older than Christianity itself, probably older than Judaism, so I'm not trying to be funny, but I've learned on my own that well, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to deny anything. I'm getting at because I have broader views. I don't know exactly where you're at, but because I have an open mind and I've studied a lot of different things. Yeah, well, with reincarnation, I'm not sure how it works, but I think there's probably at some point, if there's some need to be coming back, I think reincarnation would be something different than the way like the Buddhist to me, if God wanted to send someone back or needed someone to come back, I think that he could arrange that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I believe that, but I also believe, for instance, that there are some people you only come here once and that's it. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're having this conversation. I didn't know who else. I've been just kind of struggling the past few days, and today I'm doing a lot better this morning. And of course, I know why. I was mentioning it earlier. Of course. But yeah, So I've just been, what I was saying about Joel S. Goldsmith was the first book I ever found by him was called The Mystical Eye. What is the C? What's the C? I know what PTSD, but I don't know what the C. Oh, chronic. Is that what it is? Like I know PTSD, but oh, complex. Okay. I've just always, like I've always just seen or referred to it as, excuse me, maybe, like, no, I know what it is. I don't know about the complex, it being complex. I just know PTSD because I've had it at some point. I don't really suffer from it now, I don't think. I might. Well, like after I got beat down in North Carolina years ago and sent to the hospital and everything, like I had a bottle busted across my head and shit. Uh, I had a little bit of PTSD from that point on uh, for a while. Like I stayed in, like when I came out of the hospital, uh, I didn't go out into town much. Like I lived right in town and I could go to the mission. Like even though I had an apartment, I could go to the mission, visit all my homeless friends. I could eat there every day if I wanted to. But that's where like some of the people that were involved in putting me in the hospital sometimes would be. And I just didn't care. Like even though nothing was, it took me a long time to go back to the place on a frequent times and be able to be in the same room where someone was that had done something. But like I eventually ended up being able, like a few years later, I was still at some point found myself being able to communicate with that said person and it really just kind of like squashed it. I wasn't going to argue with them about what they did and that they really had no reason to be beating me down. They thought they did. They made up a reason, but yeah. Well, like my mom's death is probably something that I would say affects me in a way that's kind of post traumatic because of the way she died. Like my mom was murdered in an arson house fire in 2002. Maybe I should watch what words I use. I don't know if the thing would, but she was killed in an arson house fire that's still never solved, and so that's kind of like that leaves a lot of shit that I think that's why I struggle sometimes, like with my drinking and stuff. It's sometimes it's not because I feel bad, but sometimes I'm just trying to avoid not even like I just don't want to. I don't want to think. Like I'm trying not to think, and no matter what I do, I keep thinking. But I didn't mean to get into. Well, sometimes I think over the years, like especially like I had a lot of issues before she died, but after that, and just the like knowing that somebody intentionally did something, burned down the house, and a lot of it, there's a big possibility that it was done to send me a message, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but well, maybe I will. Let's just say the same thing that wants me to not keep on going, that would like me not to keep doing what I'm doing and just sharing and being me. Also, that's I think sometimes the same thing that and it's just because I know what they investigated. Like they did investigate a few other people. Of course, it was uncomfortable for me because in a case like that when a house fire and someone's death, then they're going to look to the family members. So they did look at me. I was a black sheep. I'm a criminal, like had pot charges. And I think at this point I had a DUI. No, I hadn't had my DUI yet. I didn't have a DUI yet. But I had a couple of marijuana charges and stuff like that. I had a criminal record. And also, people that knew us knew that me and Mom were best friends, but when we argued, we got into it. So, but that being said, that's just family. Well, no, I hadn't had the DUI yet at that time. But I got it about a year after. I'm just saying, they knew I had a criminal record. I had a few charges. They also knew through talking to my sister and stuff that me and Mom sometimes argued a lot. But what I'm not talking about this to get any, like, you know what I mean? Like, well, the way it was presented to me was 3 months after she had died, I went to probation. The state fire marshal stepped in within a minute of me sitting down at the probation office and said, "Can you come over to the Estill Springs Police Department? I want to ask you a few questions." I was like, "Yeah, fine." So after I was done with probation, we went over to the police department. He asked me a bunch of questions. He basically just told me I'm doing my job, and right now what I'm trying to do is eliminate people. Like, so let's talk. And then it was like, would you be willing to take a polygraph test? And I remember for about 5 seconds, I thought, I used to work for the judge in that county, Franklin County, Tennessee. He had built a skate park years ago for his son, and I worked there for a long time. So I knew Flossie Davis, and he was also a lawyer. I thought, do I need to call and get some kind of advice? But within about 5 seconds, I just said, I knew. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, like, if you didn't do it, what the hell does it matter? And so they had somebody lined up there. So if I agreed to do it, and the guy was out in the hall, and it's pretty, there is a big, even though they don't really, I think, hold up in court, they're enough accurate that it can lead in some direction of, but they're enough accurate for an investigator that if someone fails it, then that's enough for them to keep looking. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. But anyway, so the guy, like you see in the movies when someone takes a polygraph test, and sometimes in the movies they present it as if, okay, you're going to get a polygraph test and you don't know any of the questions and they just wire you up and boom. And it don't work that way. They ask you every question they're going to ask you ahead of time before, and you're not on any kind of thing. They ask you all these questions so you know ahead of time, and then they do like a test run where they ask certain questions just to read, like certain obvious questions that you have to answer as true. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, the guy told me the sign, because I was like, the only thing I was worried about is because I was like, well, if I'm nervous, even though I'm telling the truth, is that going to fucking, do something? And basically, it's just as hard to do that as it is. Like, you would have to be like, it's pretty hard to just be nervous and fail it. Like, if you're telling the truth, it's going to kind of, right, I know they're not admissible, but so the guy gave me the rundown, hooked me up, did the actual, because we did like I said, a trial run of all the questions without the machine, then the machine, and then a third time. Anyway, or whatever it was. I mean, as soon as it was over, the dude, he looked at the dude and said he didn't do it. This guy ain't. And then the investigator shook my hand, like apologized. And I was like, like, what was I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? I've always went with like I know what the truth is, and I know that I wasn't anywhere near. And but anyway, they claim that three people were involved supposedly to set it up because accelerants were around all three doors, and then there was accelerants leading down from the hot spot started in the living room, and they led accelerants down the hall to right down the where but to the bedroom doors and stuff. So I don't know. I just realized that I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't be talking about all this. It might generate, but no, actually talking about it doesn't make me like talking about it. That doesn't trigger me to want to like drink. You know what I'm saying? And not even thinking about it because I don't think about it a lot. Remember when I was saying thank you, Betty? But uh, what I was saying is I don't. I think a lot of times with my struggle on that is more subconsciously. Like when it is that I'm struggling for a few days and I've went back to the bottle or something, because I'm, yeah, I mean, and like for a second I thought, was me talking about it like gonna make me think later, like, is this gonna bring? But no, that's part of the life. It's part of life. And anyway, let me hit this. I watched Matt for a little bit this morning. I noticed this past week I've not been like I was catching some of his streams in the mornings a lot before this past week, and then this past week I kind of got out of sync. Well, I don't know what it would be like to lose a child because I don't have a child, but my mom did because I lost my brother. My brother was 19 when he died in a car wreck, and I was like 10, I think, 9 or 10. And of course, my mom was never the same. You know what I'm saying? Like she'd always when she'd be like she'd get drunk and she'd some. It wasn't always like that, but sometimes on those certain days when she was just for whatever reason was thinking about it, she'd be drinking. Those would be the times she'd be telling like you never get over it. Well, yeah, I imagine right, like it's kind of like it's kind of like with my mom's death. If mom had gotten sick and died of cancer, I probably would not have been as devastated as what's gone on and transpired. And one of the main reasons it devastated me was just because of the nature of the death and that it's an actual crime, unsolved. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that have had their parents die or somebody die in their life where they got sick. They knew that it was going to happen. Like, it wasn't like a sudden thing, and it wasn't like just flat out murder either. Oh, man. Well, that's cool. I mean, this is a small stream right now. Like, we have a couple of people other than you watching, but nobody else has chimed in, and I appreciate anybody watching. And if you could, there's one other. If the person that's just tuned in, if you could hit that like button, I appreciate it. He was a Marine Staff Sergeant. He tried. Me and Tomcat were talking about this the other day, or Tomcat and I. Uh, you were there for a little while, I think. I don't know if you were there. Yeah, you were there on the stream, but there was like a day. There was one day that he came in when I was streaming just like this, like on the app. I was on the app through YouTube, which is what I normally do, and I just normally go solo. But as you seen the other day, I'm trying to learn StreamYard a little bit so that when I do want to invite somebody on, well, you were here one of the first times I did it, and you came in for a minute. I think it was, no, it wasn't yesterday because I didn't stream. I think it was the day before. Like he was going, like he was, he kept like a kind of apologize. I kept saying sorry too, but he kept saying apology because he was kind of like, but like I was telling him, you know, like I was glad, like I was just letting him vent and talk because sometimes people, you see that it, like to me, he wasn't saying anything real wrong or anything. So it was like, just let him talk because he needs to, you know? I think he was worrying about his cussing, but for me, not but for him, because most of the time I'm not, in most of my live streams, I'm not being vulgar or anything. And it's not that he was being vulgar. It's just, I'm aware that sometimes I know that there are a few subscribers that, well, there's some people that are adults that might not like it, but I'm not worried about them. I just don't want to get in a weird situation where if somehow someone that was too young happened to catch something and then, you know what I mean? You don't want like, I'm aware that there are eyeballs on me sometimes that are younger people and they're influenced by me. So I want to, in other words, oh yeah, I have done that before. Like the other, yeah, you know what? I probably should do that with the one from the other day. I probably should go, I can go edit it, I think, and make it for no, I'm saying like the other day, I see where now I might ought to go and put it, since it's up as a video now, I can change it to where only 18 and over people could see that video. Because it does, nothing was said awful. It's just, I don't understand what you're saying. I always pick, you know, if you've ever went live, you know, it says, see, I don't really ever say 18 and plus. I just usually say, no, it's not made for kids. And I don't know what that means. I think that keeps it from going to too young of a crowd. But there's still a range of people that can see me. Like teenagers that have their own accounts and their parents don't care. Those kind of people can watch me, like a lot of times. But my videos and stuff, I'm not usually doing videos on or anything that's about. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm trying to learn. Uh, yeah, well, I'm saying there's a few people that I know I kind of know their age, but I don't, like I've told them, you don't need to say your age in the chat. Like I don't need everybody knowing that there's someone that's 16 or 17. Like if they're there watching and there's nothing going on that's harmful, then it's not it. But really, it don't matter to me because if we're not doing anything wrong, yeah. Well, I realized, like, when I started noticing it, there was one time a while back I was doing a stream, and this one guy, he had showed up a couple of times, and then like I said something about, and he was like, "I'm still in school," and I was like, "Oh, school? Like, what do you mean? High school, junior high, college?" Like, and I think he was like in like 9th or 10th grade, you know, like. Yeah, I'm not like, I don't ever get I'm trying to, I hope I didn't bore. Well, we had a few people watching, and then, well, I can't ever tell about my, and I'm not going to talk about this much anymore. Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. There's a few people like that, yeah. Oh. I'm trying to, try not to be boring here. I was looking at my missed call. Okay, you got to go. That'd be fine. I understand. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I might not be on here much longer. I'm just kind of like chilling. Like I said, there's stuff I need to do anyway. I think I am gonna. I mean, it's a pretty nice day turning out outside, and I'm gonna try to do. Once I'm off of here for a little while, in a little while, I'm gonna get to figuring out what my next move is. Like, you know, there's a little bit of cleaning I need to do. A little bit of. I might change my bed sheets today. Oh, I need to. I'll sleep better once I do that. Hey, have a good day. I wish I could. I wish I drove and had a car. Like, you know, I wish I could go places where I could just get out and like to a park or somewhere and be around a little bit of creek or a water. Have a good day. Ditto. I'm gonna share this again to see if. Whoa. I think what I'll do right now is let's step outside for a minute, y'all. Wander around out there, out into the yard for a second. Betty's got to go, so I don't know. I see that it's showing that maybe someone's watching, but sometimes when someone leaves, it says they're leaving. Sometimes it won't. Right? See, now it's down to 0. So I don't. Maybe we've. But I was going to say, but now it's back to 1. So if somebody is actually watching there, I was going to say we're going to come outside for a minute and just kind of. I'm going to kind of wander around for a minute in the yard. Oh. 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 I think a lot of what I'm doing is killing time. Let's see. I know that Lockdown Productions last week said he likes it when I'm outside, or he likes seeing the views. That here where I live is different from where he's at, you know, like the landscapes and stuff, I guess. Check my battery. My dogs are running around somewhere. It's a nice day out. Oh. It's a day out. Yeah. I can't remember if I went to the mail or not yesterday. I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did, but let's see. I might not have. I think it might have been the day before. I might not have checked it yesterday, but if I didn't, nothing came. I'll see you guys later.